everyone, welcome! My name is M.Kovačević and today's topic is Azure SQL Server Performance Boost for you. A little bit about me. I'm a Microsoft Certified Master for SQL Server. I do performance tuning, high availability migrations, trainings for DBAs or developers. Contact me if you want. Overview. We'll talk about 4 steps you can do to boost your performance of SQL Server. First one is storage spaces for your disks. Disable hyperthreading. That will boost your CPU double, and that can also lower the costs. Get vNext machine, more performance for same price. And optimize SQL, I can help you with that. Storage spaces, it's all about disks storage. So it uses speed of multiple disks, so you don't hit the limit of one drive, but you use speed of multiple drives in parallel, so you get total super fast, huge drive. Important thing is to set high column count setting. Many people omit that and they get not as fast storage spaces. They use storage spaces, but they are slow because they forget this step. How you can do it? Not through the GUI, unfortunately. You can only do it through PowerShell. When you create new virtual disk, you set number of columns equals number of disks. Simple resiliency. That will give you the best performance in Azure. You don't need any resiliency, extra resiliency, because you already have that on the Azure storage. Hyperthreading, that's the most difficult to grasp. Basically, that means if you have n cores of your CPU, hyperthreading artificially shows them as double cores. You don't have double cores, you have the same number of cores as before, but artificially operating system shows you twice as much than you actually have. That's hyperthreading. So why would somebody do that? Okay, example, if you have 8 cores visible, logical cores visible, that means you have actual 4 physical cores which are doing all the work. And why is anybody would want that? Because that gives tiny bit of performance boost. That gives you around 5%, sometimes 7%, depends on the workload. Tiny bit of performance boost because threads better interleave when they see more cores. Sometimes that gives you some tiny bit of the boost. So if we count 5% performance boost, that means 8 logical cores perform not totally as 4, but 4 point something tiny, 4.2 cores. So tiny bit better when you enable hyperthreading, but it's only tiny bit. That's great if it is free, but is it free? No, of course not. I mean, the biggest cost is SQL Server license, by far the biggest. Hardware, rent, everything is for free compared to a price of SQL Server license. And that price doubles when you enable hyperthreading. And it's enabled by default. Who knows why? You can check which machines have hyperthreading enabled on this link. And basically you see this vCPU ratio between vCPU and core. So it is 1:1. That means one vCPU, virtual CPU, is actually working on one physical core. If hyperthreading is enabled, then you have 2 logical cores visible from the OS, 2 cores. Actually, only 1 core is doing the job. 2 cores are mapped to 1 physical CPU core. So you get 1 worker and 2, which is shown as 2, but it's only 1 in reality. So let's compare with and without hyperthreading. Same virtual machine, with and without hyperthreading. Let's say it has 16 logical cores, 16 vCPU cores. Hyperthreading is on, of course, it's default. Actually, you have 8 cores which are doing the work. You don't have 60, you have 8 cores that are doing the work. You get tiny bit, few percentage performance boost because of hyperthreading, maybe 8.4 cores, as 8.4 cores. If you disable hyperthreading, you see 8 cores, but these 8 cores are actual 8 cores doing the work. So the performance is about the same, because in both cases, whether you enable or disable this software feature, you basically have always 8 cores. You didn't change the number of cores which are doing the work. It's always 8. No matter do you see 16 or 8, it's always 8. In our case. So let's compare the license. Performance is about the same, enable or disable. But let's see the license, is it the same? SQL Enterprise with 3 years of software assurance costs for 16 logical cores $13,000 US when you sum all of this, $200,000 US. If you disable hyperthreading, you pay only $100 US for the same performance, or close to same, maybe a few percentages. So you need to contact Azure support and ask them, please disable hyperthreading on my virtual machine. You will need to reboot the machine, and I think some machines do not support that, so you need to check, is it possible for your machine? You will lower the cost by half, or you will double your performance with this move. You can take higher grade machine, disable hyperthreading to get the same number of CPUs as before, and you will get double performance. So I just saved you $100,000. How cool is that? Do you appreciate? Next generation virtual machine. Let's see. It's for SQL Server, it's good to take memory optimized group of virtual machines in Azure. And let's compare generation 3 with generation 4. They have, it's a standard E64 v3 and standard E64 v4. Number of cores is the same, 64, 64. It's V cores and hyperthreading is on. So you already know, actual number of cores, physical cores that are doing the work is 32. Base clock of CPU is 2.1 gigahertz and on V4 is 2.7 gigahertz. It's already 29% higher and more capable core, more power, almost 30% more powerful only by the base clock. If you see turbo gigahertz, it's also higher, 8%. If you see year of the manufacturing of that CPU is 2017 and newer is 2019. Why that matters? Because instructions per clock is often higher in newer generation. That means per one clock, let's say it's 4 gigahertz CPU clock. On each clock, CPU executes some instructions. Instructions per clock can be double or at least can be more than year before, more than previous generation CPU. So even if they have the same clock, newer generation will do more per one clock. So you need new generation CPU, higher clock, and what is the next thing is storage. You have a limit of the machine, storage limit of the machine. How many megabytes per second is possible for that machine to give you? It is, in previous generation, it is per machine total 1,200 megabytes per second. But on new version V4, it is 3,800 megabytes per second. That's almost triple. So that is triple, more than triple. So 223% more. And RAM you get is 70% more. And guess what? With the price is the same. So if you are on V3, all you need to move your databases to a newer version, newer generation of the machine for about the same price, maybe it's small difference, but about the same. And you get triple disk performance, at least 50% faster CPU, more RAM. I mean, It's free. You just need to move. So next step, optimize SQL. You can do a lot with this step, even if you don't change the hardware. Optimize settings for Azure, operating system, instance, databases. Hundreds of settings that you maybe didn't even heard of can boost your SQL, even without any code change. Find bottlenecks, see what hurts, and concentrate on that, on biggest weights, biggest bottlenecks, remove it. Tune indexes, tune queries, top heaviest queries that hog the server, or top queries that are most important for users. Identify frequent timeouts and errors that are also can be recorded. And check a bunch of other things, like is your database healthy, are backups good, is security okay, availability, everything suspicious is recorded or checked. So what you get as a result, you get faster queries, which mean happy users, and more users come when they are happy. Reliable, verified system, DBA sleeps better. That's always a good thing. And less CPU cores are needed because optimized queries run faster, so you don't hog your CPU that much as before, and you can lower your number of CPU cores down. That means cost for SQL licenses, which is paid per core, is lower because you have less cores. And when we speak on savings, my company, Datamaster Ltd, offers performance tuning package for you with fixed price and includes everything you saw from this presentation. I can do that for you. So implementation includes implementation and more. The result is SQL runs faster than before, much faster. You spend less money because you save on CPU cores, and optimization pays for itself alone because, 10-folds, 100-folds, because you spend less and you get faster system that is ready for growth. And everybody wins. User gets faster system, you spend less money, you make the system ready for future growth, and it's win-win-win. Everybody is happy with this. So, summary, use storage spaces to get out of the limit of single disk, but to get super fast, big disks. Disable hyperthreading to double your CPU power for the same price. Get vNext machine to get faster machine for the same price as before. And optimize SQL by hiring me. Speaking of that, if you say you watch this video and order this package, optimization package, by the end of 2020, you will get discount of 10%. So, but even if you don't catch a discount, it pays off many times. So, warmly recommended. You can contact me on this email, ask anything you like. And thank you for watching this video. It's very windy here and I was enjoying recording it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.